Thank you. UKIP advocates the two-state solution, and personally speaking, I believe that recognition of Palestine would make it easier for the international community to bring the two-state solution into being. I am confident that one day Palestine will be recognised, but what we were asked to vote on today called on the Commission to act, and I have no faith in the Commission. Just look at what the EU interference has done in the Ukraine, in Libya and in the former Yugoslavia. EU imperialism is a destructive and destabilising force in the world, and I cannot and will not encourage it. Let's be in no doubt, recognising states is itself an act of statehood. My colleague Jim Carver asked a question of the Commission re the recognition of Somaliland, and in reply the Commission confirmed that the EU does not have the competence to recognise states, and for this reason I cannot countenance any request that the EU act in a way as if it were a state. Thank you.
Mrs. Atkinson.
I support a two-state solution, as does my party. However, how can this place vote to recognise statehood for one country, namely Palestine, when it has admitted that it does not have the jurisdiction to do so? My voters sent me here to stop you inflicting damage on my country, yet you are extending your damage beyond our borders when you have no right to do so at all.
Honourable Seymour.
Mrs. Seymour.
I will not apologise to being repetitive, but my colleagues Jim Carver and Nigel Farage requested a point of order on why an email of authority from the EU stated that they had no power, ability or right to recognise a member state, yet today this was not the case. It seems the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. Does this mean anything written by the EU has no substance? I believe so. Thank you.
Honourable James.
Mrs. James.
Thank you. Recognition of Palestinian statehood was a very emotive subject here today. The intent may have been laudable, but the process wholly deficient, and hence my abstention. I could not endorse a motion for which the European Union has no agreed competence and thus no authority. EU interference could yet again undermine, not support, genuine attempts to resolve conflict in this area, and if anything could heighten tensions. Symbolic pretence and retrospective justification for this motion is unacceptable, as is misleading citizens and raising the hopes of Palestinians totally and wholly reprehensible. Abstention on this basis was my chosen option, and I stand by it. Thank you.
Honourable Coburn.
Mr. Coburn.
Mr Chairman, I voted against the Palestinian state, as recognising a Palestinian state is not within the competence of this Parliament. On the 3rd of October, the EU Commission wrote to my UKIP colleague James Carver, MEP, to explain that the EU cannot recognise Somaliland or any other state, and that this was the privilege of the nation states of the European Union. Therefore, this so-called recognition of Palestine is illegal, and the EU Commission has admitted it in writing. You, Mr Chairman, should have ruled against it, but you did not. Recognition of Palestine, or otherwise, should be left to nation states and the United Nations. No one in Great Britain voted for a European state. We voted only for a trading bloc. This House has got well above itself. If Pontius Pilate couldn't solve the problem in the Middle East with the threat of the galleys and crucifixion, how does this pathetic Parliament think it can do better? It would be best left trying to sort out the deficit and sort out the collapsing euro, and not bothering with things to which it has no ability to deal with. Thank you very much.